I was the kid that had the keg parties in the basement because my parents owned bars. They were gone all the time on the weekend.
Obviously, we're standing in front of the iconic Hollywood Crazygirls, where all the action is. If you want to have a great time, this is the place to make it happen. Great bands playing here, hot girls on the inside, alcohol's flowing off the tap. Good to go, man.
Crazygirls was actually pretty big back in the 80s. A lot of bands like Motley Crue, Van Halen, many other bands made this their hangout. Used to record across the street, come here afterwards, get drunk, do their thing. Motley Crue mentioned Crazygirls in a lot of their songs. 5-6 years ago, they started having bands here, live bands, a couple nights a week. My band Nightmare, Alice Cooper tribute, we played here quite often. That stopped after about a year. So it's been probably 4 or 5 years since they've actually had live music here. Back in February, I took over starting the bands again on Monday nights, Metal Mayhem Mondays. Every Monday night we have 4 of LA's most up-and-coming bands and Hollywood's hottest dancers, all in one collaboration. We feature tribute bands, cover bands, metal bands, hardcore bands, funk bands.
We're from back for more with ultimate RATT tribute.
You guys are halfway to LA from Arizona before he realized he forgot his drum set. High school was actually a blast for me growing up in upstate New York. I was in a band since I was 13. I was the kid that had the keg parties in the basement because my parents, they were gone all the time on the weekend. My parents owned bars when I was growing up, which I inherited one of them once I turned legal drinking age because they wanted me to stop having parties in the basement. My basement was set up like a club. We built a bar down there. There was a pool table. My parents were sick of coming home from the bars at night to the helicopters above the house crashing the parties. From there, I branched out, opened 3 more bars of my own. Being around bars too much, I acquainted a good heavy-duty drinking establishment in myself. So I built up 4 DUIs and got into a little bit of trouble. I had to close the bars down because I was on probation. My brother was living out in LA. Come out to LA, start a new life. The music scene is huge here, you'll love it. So I just packed up what I had, moved out the day I got off probation. It's been very successful. I've actually been here 33 weeks.
We just dropped our EP CD right here. Surely this is true. Nick is in it because we wanted to thank the people who are really doing something for the scene here. And Nick is part of the LA rock scene. He obviously has a big festival in New York as well, but we're appreciative that he brings us in. He brings in all this other talent, and he makes it happen. And there's a ton of great bands. There's Rebel Hotel, there's War Chief, there's Snake Fist, there's Leather Duchess. There's a ton of just local bands.
We've had London here. We've had the Iron Maidens, a whole lot of Rosies, all-female AC/DC tribute. This is Pulp 90s. They're one of the feature bands we have here.
What we're doing is bringing back everything 90s. So if you love the 90s, you grew up in the 90s, or maybe you did, maybe you were born in the 90s, we do it here live on the Strip here in Hollywood.
If you weren't there, come see us. We will take you back to that moment in time.
Played with Nick for about 8 years in Nightmare, Alice Cooper tribute.
I think he's the 49th guitarist. That sound right to you?
That's probably about right. Nick is great. He's like he's definitely part of Hollywood, part of the scene. We've played all kinds of venues. I got to play all the places I read about growing up here in Hollywood, just thanks to Nick.
and being a part of that band has been probably one of the greatest experiences I've had here in Hollywood. And Nick is an icon when it comes to this stuff. He knows everything that's going on. If you need to know what's happening, where to go, how to get in, who to talk to, Nick is the guy. And he's put on Nick stock for over 20 years. So he's literally a promoter on both coasts, New York, LA.
Started doing a music festival called Nickstock. It was 2 days, 40 bands. People camp out all weekend. It's usually like 4,000 or 5,000 people. It's a very exciting event.
Rock and roll, bitches.
And there's also an after hours club that I'm part of. This began from my Monday nights because everybody always wanted to continue after the night was done. So my buddy turned his warehouse into an actual after hours bar. Come here, there's bands, there's DJs, a lot of fun. Some of the dancers come and dance, get crazy, get naked, all kinds of fun stuff going on. Another successful night of Metal Mayhem.